This is KUGAN CASSIU for IFL-TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Kazakhstan. I seem to be interviewing you in all parts of the world.
Well, let me tell you, when we were back doing the Tyson Fury fight, it was hard to believe that I would be celebrating U.S. Independence Day, July 4th, in Nur Sultan, Kazakhstan. But it is what it is, and I'm delighted to be here, and I'm blown away by the architecture in the place and, you know, what they've done here, building up this city. It really is something special.
A lot of special talent comes out of Kazakhstan, especially on the amateur circuit. Doesn't always transcend onto the pro game. Quite a select few notable names, i.e. Gennady Golovkin, etc. But there should be more, shouldn't they, kind of making it and cracking it onto the pro scene?
Well, I've had one experience with a major Kazakhstan fighter, and that was after the Olympics in Atlanta. A fighter named Vasily Girov won a gold medal and was voted the top fighter in that Olympiad. And he came to Las Vegas, and I promoted him, and he ended up winning a light heavyweight championship. He was a very, very good fighter.
Bob, can you give us kind of an update on how the link up between Top Rank, ESPN, and these MTK shows? I think this is like the 5th or 6th one now that have collaborated with. How are they going in terms of numbers and kind of audience in the US?
Well, essentially, ESPN Plus and ESPN are basically US based, but the plans that Disney, the parent company for ESPN, has is to expand it on a global basis. And what better sport to expand with than boxing? Because you have the NFL, the American football, American baseball, and American basketball, and essentially they're national sports. They're sports that are played primarily in the United States. The NBA, I know there are teams in Europe, but essentially those are American sports. Boxing goes all over the world. There are great fighters in Japan, great fighters in UK, great fighters on the continent, and great fighters in Central Asia, like the fighters from Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, great fighters from Russia as well. And so it's really incumbent upon us at Top Rank to tap that market. And MTK has the same global ambitions that we do. And they are really based in the United Kingdom. They have a tremendous number of fighters. So it was an easy decision making an alliance with them to help promote the sport on a worldwide basis. Now, we have done, I think, extraordinarily well. Everybody at ESPN is pleased with the impact the MTK shows have had on ESPN Plus, not only so much for getting new subscribers, but for providing great content to existing subscribers, who number in the United States now over 3 million. So that's, I think, a really big accomplishment. And ESPN has been very satisfied with the substantial content that they've received on the MTK shows.
And that obviously continues. This actually in Kazakhstan with headlined by Nordin Ubali, who's the WBC bantamweight champion, and a whole host of Kazakh talent. So yeah, that will continue this week, Bob.
Well, obviously for people back in the States who love boxing, this is an exotic kind of program that they can watch either live or it's on for, I think, 48 hours on ESPN Plus, so they can watch it at their leisure. And, you know, frankly, American fans haven't been able to to see this kind of content coming from a place like Kazakhstan. And indeed, I'm on my way after here to Japan, Osaka, and we have a championship fight. Murata and Brand, yeah.
Right, we'll get some updates from you if we could, Bob. Why hasn't the Lomachenko and Campbell fight been formally announced yet?
It's done. It's a done deal. Eddie Hearn asked if we allowed him, who will be the promoter in the UK, to make the official announcement, something about selling tickets and not wanting to interfere with the sale of tickets for the Dylan White fight, which apparently isn't going too well.
Okay, so obviously is that announcement going to come then after July 20th then? Are we assuming then, because that's when the Dylan White fight is?
Well, whenever he makes it, but as far as we're concerned, it's a signed deal. It's we're expecting that fight on August 31st, and I think it's going to be at the O2 Arena, but that's up to Eddie. And we're all set. Everybody, it's been ESPN is sending over a whole announcing team to England to cover the fight. So as far as I'm concerned, with or without an announcement, it's a go.
Okay, all right, we'll wait for that announcement to be made by Mr. Hearn then. Bob, this Kovalev situation, I mean, it seems to be kind of lots of different contrasting stories regarding this. What is actually going on regarding Kovalev and Yarde, first of all, Bob?
Well, Canelo wants to fight Kovalev for another title, and it's a good fight. The Zone were talking to Golden Boy, the promoter of Canelo. They were expecting a Golovkin fight. Canelo won't fight Golovkin. So now at this late date, they have come to us as the possibility of a Kovalev-Canelo fight happening. The problem is they have Kovalev people have an offer outstanding for the fight in Russia against Yarde. And our understanding with Frank, which we reached before the Tyson Fury fight in Las Vegas, and Kathy, was that if Yarde was asked to step aside, Frank and Yarde would get a substantial payment, and they agreed to that. But everything is coming really too close, so my feeling is I believe that Yarde and Kovalev will proceed sometime in August in Russia, and if Kovalev wins that fight, a fight with Canelo can take place in the winter of this year. I don't think it's possible to put it together for September 14th.
So the date being touted for that is August the 24th, is that correct?
That is correct. That's my understanding.
So when you said that the situation regarding Yarde and the step aside, you said they agreed, but was kind of the fee agreed? Was that part of it agreed on Yarde's side?
Yes, it was agreed if it came to pass. Yarde, I think, would much prefer going directly into the Kovalev fight.
Okay.
So I think, again, rather than go into the details of the step aside, I don't think that's going to happen, and I think that Yarde and Frank are satisfied with the contract for the fight to be held in Russia on the 24th of August.
Because there was a story yesterday that came out that Canelo is being now linked with a fight with Demetrius Andrade as well. Well,
if Kovalev is not available because there's not enough time to put it together, then I think Canelo wants to fight in September, and Andrade would be a likely opponent because he also fights for DAZN with Eddie Hearn, just had a fight, and would certainly be willing to go into a Canelo fight.
So, in a nutshell, you at present you expect possibly August 24th, Yarde-Kovalev to go ahead.
That's
right now.
Now, my president understand. If I had a bet on it, that's what I would bet on happening.
Okay. And in regards to Tyson Fury, Bob, you did make some comments not too long ago saying that you would like Tyson Fury just to go straight in with this Wilder fight. Is that unlikely to happen, though?
I really am not at liberty to discuss anything until I speak to Tyson. There have been developments that I want to run by him first.
Okay. Development sounds very intriguing.
It is intriguing. Everything in boxing becomes intriguing.
Are we expecting Tyson, though, to fight? I mean, I think you come out with 2 dates at possibly MSG for September, I believe. The 7th and the 21st, is that still a possibility?
That is a possibility if a Wilder fight does not happen. If the Wilder fight happens, it'll probably be closer to in November.
Do you have reason to believe that the Wilder Ortiz fight?
I have nothing to believe. My beliefs are irrelevant to the situation.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll have to wait and see. We know, obviously, you're kind of an open book, Bob, and if you're kind of possibly holding back, then there's reasons why that is, so we'll respect that. So, how long are you in Kazakhstan for?
I'm in Kazakhstan until Sunday, and then I'm taking a trip with my wife, who's here, to Moscow. Funny, we've been to St. Petersburg. We've never been to Moscow, so we're just going to do the tourist thing in Moscow, and then we're off to Osaka, Japan, for a really good middleweight championship match, Murata and Brand.
Just finally, I think the press conference is just about to begin, Bob, but the video we did in Vegas regarding Pulev ended up in a press conference, I'm sure people would have seen, quoted from, obviously, our interview, and also there were comments that you should be sanctioned from the lady involved in this situation.
Gloria Allred, the attorney for the lady involved, forgot that in the United States we still adhere to the First Amendment. So my opinions and comments are certainly not eligible to be sanctioned, and they're protected by the Constitution of the United States. So I got a kick out of her press conference. It shows really the desperation on her part, and the fact that what she has done, sexual harassment is a real problem. You and I know that. But what happened here and the way it's been blown out of all proportion tends to trivialize real sexual harassment.
And the chances of the ban being extended?
I really believe he's had 2 things he had to do. One was take a course in sexual harassment, which I accompanied him to, and got a certificate of completion, really from the university. That's true, and he did too. And second was a symposium with the press on sexual harassment of women journalists, and that was accomplished yesterday, and the university reported to me that everything went extraordinarily well, and so that's the second aspect that he had to comply with under the order of the California Commission, which he's done, so I expect that his license will be fully restored at a July 22nd meeting of the Commission.
Right, this press conference, Bob, is just about to begin, so we're going to have to cut this short, but I'm sure we'll catch up with you again this week in Kazakhstan.
Have you ever been before?
Yeah, I came here in May. Yeah.
Is that right?
Intriguing place.
It is.
Everything in boxing is intriguing. I don't know where I heard that. I heard it today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.